Good morning, everybody. Well, at least it's morning when I'm filming. So, good morning, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Gail, and I'm so glad that you stopped by. I hope you'll hang around and check out these adorable little accordion journals that I have created. I was inspired by the beautiful Heather over at Ruby&Pearl XO. If you're interested in how she put together her accordion journal, I am going to put a link to that video in the description box below. I took her idea and ran with it, put my own little spin on what I included in the journal. So I'm going to put this one aside, and I'm going to show you this one first. Now I have used Heather's ledger paper. Sorry, I can't remember. I think it's French ledgers or fancy ledgers. It is the ledger pages she used in her video, so I will list them below anyway. The digital designers I used, as I try to always do. I also used digitals from Sweet Pea Curiosity, Raven Vintage, Raindrop Lila, Sam Poole, and I got into my scraps, so I don't always remember what something is once it lands in my scrap box. This is the front cover, and all I did was a layered collage, and I've added some gold trim at the top. I'm just bringing it up closer so you can get a good view of it. Isn't this amazing? It looks like fabric. It's not. It's paper. I'm pretty sure this is Sweet Pea Curiosities, both of these. I think they're from her Le Petite journal, but don't quote me on that. This little image is one of the pieces off of a digital by Raven Vintage. I put a little bit of an embossed scrap down here and some brown paper and some antique French text. So that is the cover. And then it opens like so. And inside I have done a pocket with a tag and a vintage lace tab at the top. As usual, most of my tags and journal cards are blank on the back so that there is room for writing. A pretty piece of lace that is not vintage, it is new, pretty sure. And then over here we have a side tuck and another tag. This was a piece I found in my scrap box that I had put together at some previous time, and it's just some different layers of paper, and then I did a little sewing on top of it to connect them together. And then when you turn this page, I collaged this page, and I just liked this page as it was, so I did not add anything to it in regards to any kind of pocket or tuck. What I did do, though, over here is I did some texture stenciling. And here's a little piece of applique. Again, just collaged all these pieces together. I love this. I am pretty sure this whole thing is Sweet Pea Curiosities. Oh, and then I just did this little clip. It's got the rhinestones on it. That actually is for something that's on the back page. So we'll see that when we get there. Then you flip it over, and I have another side pocket here. This is a piece of fabric with just a little rub-on. I think that's Taperlogy. This is Raindrop Lila. It's one of my favorite designs that she's done. And then I have a little journal card in here. That's sweet. And then I just put a little kind of a polka dot tulle bow on it and a little rhinestone dangle. tuck that inside. And then this is a Sweet Pea Curiosity envelope, and it's a digital. What I did was I cut it apart so I could use the top part as an actual opening for an envelope. I did a little resin piece with some rhinestones around the edge, and this was inspired by two people, Dodie at Lace Girl 130, also known as Dorothy Jane, and G. Kerr at Happiness in Crafting. There's a little piece of scrim underneath it. I've got 2 layers of lace down here at the bottom and some antique German Bible page, and then just a little label. And then this flips up, and the inside I used more of that antique German Bible, and then tucked this journaling card in there. This is a Sam Poole, Women in White. And then on this side, I know this is a Ruby and Pearl image, and whoops, another Sam Poole designs. I believe that's Women in White. And then this is a stamp from Sam. That just tucks in there. Let me show you here. This little clip with the rhinestone, I resined that onto the paper clip. Over here, I made a pocket, full-size pocket. I added a little bit of applique down here in the corner. But again, this is an image. I love it so much. And then I put a large tag inside and did some collage. The images I used, the women, I think most of them, if not all of them, are from Sam Poole Designs. Her Women in White kit, oh my gosh, beautiful, beautiful ladies. And then she's got some gorgeous women in her Lilac Dreams kit. So check that out because they're gorgeous. Tuck that right in. And then this is the back of the journal. It doesn't really matter. This could be the front since it's like a flip-flop kind of journal. Excuse me. Another little scrap and a piece of lace. Excuse me. A tag. This tag is from Sam Poole Designs. And then I love this image. This is Sweet Pea Curiosities. So then this back, like I said, it could be the front because it flips open, and now we have 2 more pages. This is Raven Vintage. I love this background. This little tuck here is actually part of this background, but I cut it off to make it fit. I tucked this little image from Sam. This is just some vintage lined paper scrap on the back. But here you can see I loved that little image, and I didn't want to lose it, but I had to cut it off to make this fit. This is some antique French book page, more antique French. I think that might be a dictionary or encyclopedia, and I tucked her right in there. Over here, I created a tag. I have a little narrow piece of velvet, and I added some rhinestones on top of that. A little word. I had typed out a bunch of words on some vintage paper, and so I just keep them in a box, and I tear them apart as needed or wanted. Added this tab at the top. Tuck that right in there. And then when you flip that over, another tag. I love the simplicity of this image. I believe this is Raven Vintage. So I didn't add much to it. I did add this little, it's not a label per se, it's something I cut off of another piece. And then I just added a little bow and some ribbon at the top. And then a pocket over here. Some gold trim like what's on the cover, and another little piece of applique. And then these two little cards on the inside. So tuck that inside. I love swans. Love, love, love swans. Let's put this way. Then when we flip over, I had fun with these 2 pages. Let me get this maybe so it doesn't glare. I did a little resin bevel and added 3 little pieces of rhinestone on it. And then this piece of velvet, I added a rhinestone chain, and I just liked the way I made it so it looked like it was continuing onto the bezel. Hope you can see that without the glare. There we go. And then I added this journal card in the back of a belly band. Another little piece of applique. And then over here I did a vellum pocket and just a simple little collaging on the edge. Tucked that into the vellum pocket. Tucked this adorable little card into the applique, or the, I'm sorry, the lace. I made a little pocket there on top of the vellum pocket. And then, let's see if we can get it up there so you can see it. It's kind of like a safety pin. I don't remember where I got it. It was in my box of metal things, and I have several of them, so I'm sure I bought it someplace. I don't think it's vintage, but I just took those words, cut the strip out of something. I'm sorry. I don't remember what. And then poured some resin over it, and I just like the way that turned out. Then when you flip this over, yes, more applique, and I made a pocket, corner pocket out of it. Another one of those, let me bring it close, one of those bulldog clips, a little bulldog clip with some tiny rhinestone chain on it. And I did this one on both sides. And I used it to clip in this little tag, journal card, whatever. And then on this side I took an envelope and I collaged one side of it, aged tape, and then this flips out, and there's some more of that purple flower. And another one of my words. I've put a little journal card inside, another beautiful swan image. So there's room down here for writing. And then I made the flap, the flap of the envelope. I kind of cut it off a little bit and made a tuck spot out of it. And then just added this extra little image. It's ready for someone to do whatever they want with it. Make it a tag or a journal card or whatever. Add it to a page of something. So I just tucked that in there. And then this closes and we're back to the front. I don't think I showed you like side views. As usual, I fattened her up. The next one, this one is approximately 5 by 4.5. And some of the digital designers I used was Happiness in Crafting, Amiaty Bloom, Sam Poole Designs, Tailor-Made Journals, and again, scraps. Trying to hold it so you don't get too much glare. This is an envelope, and I just collaged. It's a window envelope, and I just collaged around the window after I tucked these two beautiful young ladies inside. Here at the bottom, I added another resined bezel and a rhinestone decorative piece and a little bow. So when you flip this open, what I've done here is, this is the the other part of the envelope, and I made a flip-up journaling. Let me pull this down. Journaling area. If I turn this back over and you look at this, that was the length of the envelope. I did cut it down some so that it would fit on the page in here and be able to flip up, because what I did here is I made a pocket and added this journaling card inside. Simple little collage, some washi tape, more of Raindrop Lilas. This was a scrap left over from one of the bigger pieces, and so that just goes inside there. A little of that German tape. And then down here, excuse me, I made a pocket. That's someone I forgot to mention, Southern Muse. She is new to me as far as a digital designer, and she had some beautiful designs that I liked, so there you go. And then a little journaling card. This is Sweet Pea Curiosities. And then I did a pocket here, and I love the way this turned out. I am not sure. I believe this image is Ruby and Pearl, the flower image, but this area here is white. And what I did was I cut out the white and used it, cut around the flowers, and then took this image and placed it underneath the flowers where I fussy cut, and used this whole little area like a frame. This is some Amiaty Bloom washi tape. I added a tab on the side to make it easier to put it in and out of the pocket. So I was real pleased with the way this whole page, front and back, turned out. Over here I did a simple corner pocket, and this is Tailor-Made Journals. Again, I had a large page and I cut it up into pieces for different things. Some washi tape and some rhinestones and a little ribbon at the top. This background is Amiaty Bloom. I think for the backgrounds I use mostly Amiaty Bloom and crafting. This is some Amiaty Bloom washi tape. G. Kerr at Happiness and Crafting just came out with the new kit. It's just backgrounds, antique papers. In fact, I think that's in the name, antique something. Again, I'll list them below. And then this is just a little sewn ruffle that I did and added to the pocket. Then when you flip this over, this is actually this is an Amiaty Bloom card that was in a purchase I made from her. And I thought that it just went perfect with this whole page. And so I just did a simple lace pocket and tucked this inside the pocket. See, this is part of those antique papers from Happiness and Crafting. And then here's another little paper clip with the rhinestone. It's got the little rhinestone finding and then 3 little rhinestones I cut off of a chain below it. That idea I was inspired by, again, G. Kerr at Happiness and Crafting. So I tucked that in there. I thought it went great. I might have had that. Did I have that? I don't think I had that under there. But if I did, I'll do it later. And then this, I don't remember where this came from. It's one of these pages. And I fussy cut around this image and made a belly band out of it. And then took some vintage sheet music, added a little bit to this image and some lace journal card, and tucked it right into this belly band. Then when you flip it over, Tailor-Made Journals. And then this is a tag. This is a tag I actually found in my stash. part of a masterboard, I believe, that I had cut down a while back. And I just thought it fit well, so I used that in that pocket. And then over here, I just love this image. And this was a scrap of paper, and I wish I remembered who it came from because I'd like to print it out and use some more of it. And one of these days I'll find it again, but right now I don't know where I got it. So anyway, I love this image. I didn't want to cover it up, so I made a pocket out of it. I tucked a large journaling card inside. Again, some more collaging and some rhinestone chain, some lace tab at the top. Tucked that in the pocket. And then this is just a little scrappy-doo kind of thing. And I just liked the way it fit in there. So that's what I did. When you turn this page, this pocket was inspired by Kathy at Raven Vintage. She's doing 100 days of scraps. I think this was in those videos. Forgive me, Kathy, if I'm wrong, if you ever stop by. And I had just took some of my my fabric scraps and covered the pocket, added this little bow. Isn't that sweet? I just love the way that turned out. There's some scrim in there and some lace and a little teeny bit here and here of some old upholstery kind of fabric. Here's like a flocked fabric. Maybe it was a pillow. I did a little ruffle with just some cotton fabric. And yeah, I just love the way it turned out. And I liked these colors with the colors in the background flowers. So I was real pleased with that. So this little card has a pocket. And I'm sorry, I don't remember the papers used on this because this was something I had in my stash. And these little papers in here are, they're definitions. I have these little, I was going to pull it out and show you. I have this little book. And again, I don't remember, let's see if it says on the back. Wintertime Crafts. And I bought two. It's Dictionary Library series. Sorry for the shadow. I'm coming up too close to the camera. There's another one. This one's called, oh, I see. This one says Beautiful Words, Volume 2. And this is Beautiful Words, Volume 1. So I've had those in my drawer, and I decided it was time to start using them. So I just tucked those in this little pocket here. And then there's another pocket on the back, and two more of those little papers. Aren't they sweet? So I really like those. Both of these are Sweet Pea Curiosities, but different kits. I think this is her Flea Market, and this is her Paris Patina. I love this image. I feel like she's standing on a balcony overlooking the rooftops of Paris. Whether she is or not, I don't know. And then I like the idea of the Eiffel Tower in this image of, I don't know what, it's like maybe a wallet type image. And so I made a tuck spot out of that, if I can get this out. And then just did some more collaging on this tag. A little bit of lace at the bottom. It's not old or vintage. And a couple of labels from Poole Designs. I think this is her Snippets kit. And I just tucked that right behind this little wallet or purse. And then that's the back. I had to see where I was. Little lace pocket on the back. And another journaling card. This is one of G's new papers. They're so lovely, and they just make great backgrounds. So then we flip it open this way. This is just fabric scrap that I have. One of my favorite pieces of fabric. This is an Amiaty bloom background, and this is where I had connected the two papers together before I folded them. And then this is from Lilac Dreams, Poole Designs. Beautiful, just beautiful. Can't get enough of her. And then another little image. I'm sorry, I don't remember. And I just kind of cut around it to make a side pocket. Another one of Sam's Beautiful Ladies. Tuck that inside. And down here, I just did a little doodad. I don't know what you want to call it. Just some little laces and some seam binding, and sewed a button onto that, and then put it all down here. A little fabric and button doodad. And then on this page, tailor-made journals. And then Poole Designs. This is part of an image from Southern Muse. I think I mentioned her. She's new to me. And then some vintage book page. And I believe that's from Poole. And then here I took a glassine bag, aged it, glued it down to the page, and did another little doodad, just a little flower doodad. So some dyed scrim I had from something else. I found these in my scrap bin, guys. Some little cotton fabric that's been stitched together for a ruffle, and then this little adorable paper flower. I didn't even know I had it. It pays to go through your scrap bins. And then here's a little tag, some French paper, and a fabric scrap. And the fabric, I just wrapped it around to the bottom of the back of this tag, journal card, whatever you want to call it. And then these two pages. This is another one of those paperclip rhinestone. I love these. I intend on making more of these. This is Sweet Pea Curiosities. Another one of my favorite images. I've used her before, I believe multiple times. Whoops. And this is a library file card. I got these from Kate at Pixie K Designs. And all I did was a fussy cut. This is an Amiaty bloom image, and I fussy cut around it and added it to the card. And then, I don't know if you can see it, this belly band is a piece of embossed paper, and then I added a pink rhinestone chain to it. More of G's. See, these papers are so lovely. So lovely. And then just tuck that inside and kind of clipped them in with this rhinestone, beautiful rhinestone paper clip. And then the last page, I made a little tuck. Another one of my favorite images from Sam. I really can't get enough of these. They're beautiful. I just added a piece of lace, took that lace and wrapped it around to the back. It's not a pocket or anything. And then this is from Amiaty Bloom. She's got a kit of different numbered tags in different sizes. And so I used this as a tuck. I added a little bit of these embroidered roses, some more scrap paper in my scrap bin, and a little bit of scrappy, crinkly seam binding. Tucked her in there. and I think she's beautiful. I think the page turned out so pretty, and we are back to the beginning. So, hope you guys liked these. As usual, when you see this video, I have listed them in my Etsy shop. If you don't see them, that means they've sold. So I want to thank all of you if you stayed until the end. I really appreciate it. You know, I hope you know I love you guys. And I love all of our gorgeous digital designers. They inspire me so much. Way too much. Every time I turn around, I'm buying a new digital kit. It's embarrassing how many digital kits I own. But anyway, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye. And happiness in